Greetings, vinyl community, and welcome back. It's Friday right now as I film this, and I'm not sure when I'm going to upload this video, but I assure you it's Friday because I had the day off work today, and I just got back from vinyl shopping. The results of, I will show you in a couple seconds. When I say a couple seconds, probably mean a couple minutes or a half hour, knowing me. But currently we're in the middle of a horrible snowstorm, which limited how much I could get out putzing around, driving today to the record stores. And in fact, I probably wouldn't have went out at all today if it wasn't for the fact that I thought the new Black Mountain album was out today. Or I was led to believe that, and no one had it. So I struck out there. Hopefully I'll pick it up next week. But you know what I did get? I'll show you today. But you know what? Let's start this video off correctly. Cheers, everyone. What I have for you today is mostly new vinyl, to be honest with you. There's some thrift store stuff mixed in. But I've been thrift store shopping a few times here and there since my last video, but my want to go out thrift store shopping really hasn't been there the last week or two for a number of reasons. And I know you guys like to see the thrift store finds. It's just, you know, work, the weather, and I'm not sure if you can see this in the frame. If you're a long-time viewer of my videos, you'll know when the U-Haul boxes come out, it's record fair season in my city. And a lot of you know that I buy and sell. I'm a vendor as well as a buyer at our record fairs. It takes me about a good month to get ready for our record fairs, as I have a lot of tables that I sell vinyl at, which is very time consuming. You wouldn't believe how time consuming it is. So that's been dominating a lot of my time. Plus, you know what, we're in that in-between time right now where you know, we're on the verge of spring. When I say on the verge of spring in Canada, it could be in 2 months from now, but it's that kind of odd in-between period where thrift store finds have kind of dried up slightly, and once spring happens and people are cleaning out their garages and basements and cellars and wherever else, their thrift store finds will pick up. So, you know what? I'm happy with what I do have to show you, though. So, you know what? Let's get right to this after another drink of coffee. Cheers, everyone. All right. What I have for you first here is an album that was causing me a lot of fretting in the last week or so, is this one right here, and I'll tell you why I was fretting over it. It's the new reissue of U2's No Line on the Horizon 10th Anniversary Ultra Clear Vinyl. The reason why I was fretting so bad is I really wanted this album. And the fact that it was ultra clear vinyl, or clear vinyl, kind of added to the allure. Not that it affects the sound or anything like that. But people in the UK were showing their, they were getting their orders, or they were getting it from the stores there, and posting it on Facebook, etc., etc. And I was wondering, when's mine going to come? And the release date came and went for Amazon to ship their albums, and they had changed the status to currently unavailable, which isn't good. So that could mean they're not getting any stock on it, etc., etc. And then, of course, I have a buddy in England who I talk to on Facebook quite a lot named Joe Morgan. Hey, Joe. He's kind of my U2 backup guy. He's a huge U2 fan. And he was prepared to ship me a copy of this. Thank you, Joe, for that. I appreciate the gesture on that. And then all of a sudden, the same day, we were going to agree. I was going to send him some money. I got a notification from Amazon that they got some stock in. Boom, I got mine in the mail. Let me tell you about this really quickly. Not really about the album so much, but I will tell you this. After playing this in its entirety for the first time in many years, it's a lot better than I thought it was. In fact, it might be the dark horse in the U2 catalog. I don't remember liking it that much when I first heard it 10 years ago. But suffice to say, it's out there for you to explore if you want. But this is such a well put together package. It comes in a very heavy Mylar bag, as you can see here. Very thick, nice bag. This is in case you don't have it. You're thinking about it. Double vinyl, obviously, because what album isn't double vinyl these days, but really nice booklets. They give you inners, and then of course you know, proper audiophile sleeves, and the inners, which I guess are pretty to look at. There's a nice booklet inside. Or how do I flip it around? Really nice detailed booklet inside, and just really, as I struggle to get this in here without damaging it, really, really nicely put together package. So I gotta say kudos to you two for putting together a really nice one on this one. Thankfully, the fretting is over until Record Store Day when I try to fret over getting their release, their Europa EP. But we'll save that for a Record Store Day video. Oh, plus that's another reason too. I gotta back up a little bit. I've been squirreling away a lot of money for Record Store Day because there are some releases that I'm wanting that are going to be a little bit. So I gotta kind of curtail it a little bit on the thrift store shopping. But anyways, that's a total aside, isn't it? U2's No Line on the Horizon 10th anniversary ultra clear vinyl. There you go. Excuse me for 1 second. It's awfully dry in here. All right. New record number 2 is Metallica. But not just any Metallica album. This is an indie store exclusive album if you're not aware of it being out. It's called Helping Hands Live and Acoustic at the Masonic Temple. And it's like it says it is. It's an acoustic album available to indie stores only. And it's a 2 LP set on blue marble vinyl. I'm not sure if how many of you are aware of this being out there, but it's the content, or it's ostensibly from a concert on November 3rd, 2018 in San Francisco, with all proceeds going to this new foundation that Metallica has called Helping Hands. And I'm not sure where that money goes to, but I'm sure it's something with hands. People with hands, I'm guessing. I'm kind of ignorant on where the money's going. But anyways, it's an acoustic set with some reworkings of Metallica titles. It's not really an unplugged album in the sense that they have I guess it is, but I mean, they've backed themselves up with slide guitar players, and I think there's a cello player. Maybe I'm wrong on that one. But a lot of good covers on this one. They do a version of Please Don't Judas Me by Nazareth. They do a version of Veterans of the Psychic Wars by Blue Oyster Cult. What else do they do here? When Blind Man Cries by Deep Purple. But track 1, Disposable Heroes, which I think they released on YouTube in advance of this album, is probably the winner for me on this one. So I'm probably blabbing on about a Metallica album too much. But, Metallica, Helping Hands acoustic album. Actually, really decent listen, I will say that. Not essential, but if you're a completist, you probably will want this in your collection. All right, these next 2 albums. You know what? I'm going to go to this one next, and then I'm going to go to 2 brand new albums that I got recently that kind of tie in to each other. Let's go with this one. This is something that was recommended to me by someone. And the works of, if you're not into jazz, you may want to skip by this. I've not really been hip to the works of Bill Evans. Bill Evans, a very, very famous jazz piano player. He played on Kind of Blue by Miles Davis, amongst other landmark albums. Someone recommended that, if you like Kind of Blue, you might want to check out some of his other works. Some of his works as a band leader. And they said, the place you want to start off on is maybe live at the Village Vanguard or Sunday at the Village Vanguard. And that's what I got. I picked up a copy of this just because someone was... this person kind of swore I would love it. And you know what? I was just blown... I mean, I have to say that if you look back on the history of this album, read about it on Wikipedia or et cetera, other places, it is considered widely to be one of the best live jazz albums of all time. And it's certainly up there with a lot of people in the know of one of the best jazz albums of all time, period. And, man, I was just blown away how... I thought it'd be kind of rinky-dinky piano jazz. I'm not really big into piano jazz. But this is not at all. This is really, really, really great. One of those other albums that, when I show you jazz albums, they're usually kind of albums to dip your toes in the water of jazz, which is a huge rabbit hole you can fall into. But I highly recommend this one, I will say. Oddly enough, their bass player, Scott LaFaro, as I did some research on this album as I'm listening to it, he died 10 days after after making this album. on a Sunday at the Village Vanguard, which is the title. And subsequently, they really featured him prominently in the album, which kind of gives the album a really well-rounded bottom end to it, which kind of is a nice counterplay to the piano playing. I'm talking like I know what I'm talking about, but I'm slowly getting there for jazz, just little bits by little bits. But it's a nice counterpoint to the piano. A lot of you know this album, so I'm kind of maybe sometimes preaching to the converted on this one. But Bill Evans Trio, Sunday at the Village Vanguard, what an amazing, amazing jazz album. So thank you to the person who will never see this video that recommended it to me. There's someone at work. We're getting down there. This shouldn't be too long of a one, but you know what? I'm sure it will be. These are the two new albums that kind of tie in together. I got a copy of the new Specials album called Encore. And I can't remember, this is the first new album in a long, long, long time. So I want to show that one first, the new Specials album. And then I picked up a copy of the new English Beat album, or if you're in the UK or outside Canada, US, The Beat, called Here We Go Love. This is the version of with Dave Wakeling. I think it's the first new English Beat album with him on it. Oh God, it's got to be 25 years maybe, if not longer. So we're going to talk about these two albums kind of separately but together. You know what, I'll start with this one since I'm holding it and prevents any awkward transitions like hand-eye coordination. Anyways, the new English Beat album featuring Dave Wakeling. Here We Go Love. I have an insanely soft spot for Dave Wakeling, and I'll tell you why. He had it all. The English Beat were really big in the UK and Europe, and they were just breaking big in North America. And then in 1983, they were opening a show for David Bowie. This is how legend, this is kind of how the story goes, I guess, or what legend, I'm not sure where legend plays into this, but this is how the story goes, apparently. The English Beat were opening for David Bowie in North America, just a single show or something like that. And at the same time, just before the show was, this is kind of show day, I guess, Dave Wakeling kind of decided to leave the band, and he kind of co-opted Ranking Roger in with him, who was the second vocalist in English Beat. And they said, you know what, we can make a lot more money together than, you know, because the English Beat was kind of a large band. So they thought, you know what, let's leave this band and go on our own and make a lot more money. So he, as far as I understand, he put his resignation letter under the door of their manager in the hotel. And then they went on to play the show that night with Bowie. And then Bowie loved him so much that he asked him to open up the entire tour for 1983 for David Bowie. And then he thought, oh, shit, what did I just do? He just quit his band. So he spent the night trying to fish out the letter from underneath his manager's door to no avail. And from what I read anyways, he kind of thought that was fate. And then what happened is that, you know, he left the band with Ranking Roger, and they formed General Public, who had one big album, and then they just faded into obscurity. And the other two of the other guys from the English Beat, of course, went on to do Fine Young Cannibals. And then ever since, and this is where the soft spot for Dave Wakeling comes in, is that pretty much ever since the demise of General Public, he's been kind of wanting to get the band back together and relive those days, and you kind of realize what a dumb mistake that was, and it's never happened. Poor Dave. Anyways, I mean, it doesn't get talked about a lot, but that's got to go down in the annals of music history of one of the biggest fuck-ups ever. Quitting the English Beat just when they were about to break huge in North America, and Bowie wanted to open up his entire Serious Moonlight tour, which I believe it was in '83. Yeah, poor Dave. But here, you know what? Here he comes back with Here We Go Love, brand new album, and I have to say, this is kind of where it ties into the Specials. Two legendary UK ska bands, but two very different albums. This is a fun album, more or less. Not to paint it as one thing, but it's a very, very fun album. It's very there's a ballad or two on it, and there's some kind of differing songs on it. But generally speaking, it has that upbeat ska English beat sound to it that he tried to retain. And you know what? It's a fun album, and I wasn't disappointed. I went into it totally blind, and I thought it was a really great fun album. So you know what? Well done, Dave. Like you'll ever see this, but really good album. Here You Go, Love by the English Beat. And then here comes the Specials. The new album, Encore, which is a polar opposite album to the English Beat, even though they were kind of part of the same movement there with Madness and all those two-tone bands. This is a very serious album. Serious in the sense that they tackle a lot of topical subjects of today, like Brexit and things like that. And unlike the English Beat album, the best parts of this album are when the Specials are not trying to sound like the Specials, if you know what I mean. Whereas I think Dave Wakeling kind of harkened back to that classic English Beat sound. The Specials, there are a few tracks that are kind of throwback tracks, which is understandable. But the best parts of this album are when they are pushing things forward and not contained to that kind of two-tone sound. And of the two, I mean, not that they're battling each other to the death, which would be fun to see, but the Specials album was the biggest surprise and maybe one of my favorite albums I've heard in a long, long time. So if you're into the Specials, this is the Specials, but the Specials moving their sound forward, if you know what I mean. But very good album. You know, and I never give long critiques of albums. You're going to get one today because I don't have a lot to show you. But, here we go. This will be my screen cap. There you go. English Beat, fun album to get you on the dance floor. And this one is to make you think. And some really good new sounds by the Specials. So well done. Well done, Terry Hall and gang. And what do I have to show you for thrift store finds? You know what, let's start with this one. This is why I don't do album reviews, because I just blabber on forever. What else is new? Underworld. The first time I've ever found an Underworld album at a thrift store. And it was for their 12-inch for Born Slippy. And I'm just thrilled as hell. I've never had this. Very rare that you'll see Underworld albums, even at record fairs, etc., because the people who own them hold on to them. Born Slippy, of course, you might know this from the movie Trainspotting. But, the logger. Anyways, Born Slippy, I was so thrilled to find this at a thrift store. Beautiful condition copy. I thought it was all going to be all hacked to shit from someone owning it who might have been a DJ, but nope. Pristine condition copy of Born Slippy by Underworld. Very, very happy to find that one. What else do I have to show you today? I'm trying to think. There's some filler stuff here, but you know what? Oh yeah, you know what? I got a CD to show you. I'm going to end on a CD for a reason. Linda Ronstadt, Heart Like a Wheel. I've talked about Linda Ronstadt in the past. Heart Like a Wheel is considered one of those top albums of all time. It's actually registered in the National Registry in the U.S. apparently. Very, very highly regarded album. So I found this for $1 or $2. Might have been a couple bucks. And I thought, I don't know if I've ever owned this before, but I bought it. I thought it's one of those albums that is so highly regarded, I'd be kind of ignorant, at least not to give it a try. And you know what? It kind of does live up to the hype. It's not, generally speaking, not in my wheelhouse of what I normally listen to, but that's what's great about picking up these things like this is you expose yourself to new music. Great album. I mean, just great album for what it is. Heart Like a Wheel by Linda Ronstadt. I don't think you need me to talk about this album a whole lot, but just really, I mean, most of her music are cover songs, as I'm realizing, as I'm kind of delving into Linda Ronstadt's catalog, which is fine, but what a voice. My God. Linda Ronstadt, Heart Like a Wheel. And you know what? I'm going to end on a CD. Not for any other reason. That this is just a weird find. It's Ginger Baker from Cream. And I found this at a thrift store, and it's called Unseen Rain, and it was with Jens Johansson and Jonas Hellborg. You can get a picture of that one. Not the easiest CD to find, apparently, but Jens Johansson is, he played with Yngwie Malmsteen, and he's part of that power metal movement, and I know a lot of my friends are big fans of Jonas Hellborg. But I picked this up because I've never seen it before, Ginger Baker, and what an amazing album. I think it's on download services or download. That's so 10 years ago. On streaming services, if you feel like you want to hear a really good experimental jazz album that's not really jazz, although that's what it's called. You know what? You got some time on your hands. Listen to Unseen Rain by Ginger Baker with Jens Johansson and Jonas Hellborg. Just an amazing album. I put it on my big stereo system behind me last Friday night, and just thought I'd clean some records while I was listening to it, and it kind of made me stop cleaning records and just listen to it in its entirety. And just amazing albums. Unseen Rain by Ginger Baker. The oddest find I've had in a while for CDs, but one of the most pleasant surprises I've had in a while. Whew, there you go. We made it through another one. Like I said, we got record fair season coming up, so you got a lot of good finds coming up for that. As always, I always make a video for our record fairs. And we got Record Store Day, love it or hate it. I love it. And I always make a video for every Record Store Day, and my list is quite lengthy this year. And I've made it intentionally lengthy because half of it won't show up in my city. So, you know what, if I ask for 20 things from my local record store, I'll probably get 10. And then 8 of them I'll regret buying later on. But that's how Record Store Day works, and I love it. Love it, love it. By the way, I remember this is back when I was managing and owning record stores. I was part of the very first Record Store Day. And I'm not sure how many of you out there remember the very first Record Store Day, but man, I was thinking about this the other day. It was so different than what it is now. It was easier to get product, obviously, because not a lot of stores participated. But there was a lot of CDs at the time. I was looking through my rack. My CD racks were over there for point of reference, and I was looking through there, and I couldn't believe how many CDs I still have from that very first Record Store Day, like Matador samplers, and I think REM had one, and Beastie Boys box set, which I have 2 of. I'm looking at them right now. The Hot Sauce Committee box set that came out for the first Record Store Day. Got 2 of them there. If someone wants one, let me know. I'll sell it to you. Reasonably priced. Anyways, that was just kind of a total aside about we got Record Store Day coming up, so you'll have a video for that. Very excited about that. So you know what? One more time, cheers. From a very, very, very snowy, and I mean snow. Happy March 2019, Canada. From a very snowy northern Canada. This has been David Michael, aka Nazz Nomad. Take care, everyone. We'll see you next time.